anything else you guys remember?
We had from one of the stories that we heard before, we also had to retell that story, but we also had to make like a connection to it and tell one of our own stories that goes along with it. So, yeah.
When you say one of our own stories, what do you mean?
Like like for instance, like I told a story about me and my dad, that like how I would tell him the story. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like how we would tell him the story that we remembered.
So then we really learned how to tell stories, right?
Yeah.
It's like we're really keeping in mind the listener, how we would communicate with them, and how to tell the story in the best capacity, so that that person who's listening could really go on that ride, go on that journey with the story, right? So that's what we learned last week. Is that it? Basically?
We gathered up in small groups and had volunteers tell the stories that Kayvon had shared over the weeks with us.
Yeah, that's what we did. I have a few volunteers who want to get out of their comfort zones and share their experience with us. So Alejandro, can you please come up?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first one is sense perception. So who did you tell your story to?
My sister.
Your sister. What story did you tell her?
The one about the bear and the human.
Okay, cool. So then after you told the story to her, did you guys, what was your thought?
Story. What was the situation? What did she do? What did you do? Just give us a little bit of the scenery of what happened.
Okay, well, I had come home from school and she was laying in bed on her phone, and I sat down next to her and I was like, Mari, I'm gonna tell you a story. And then I just,
out of the blue, whether you want it or not.
yeah, I just told her I was gonna tell her a story, and she was like, oh, okay.
That's it?
Yeah, and then I just told her, and then she's like, why did you tell me? And I was like, I wanted to share this with you. And she's like, oh, and then that's it.
She's walked out.
Okay, now we keep going.
Walks out like.
So then what was your...
So basically, what you go over here is that, step on this one. So what did you think about what you did, and what did you think about what she said? What was going on in your mind?
Well, I was thinking that I really wanted her to understand the story. Like, I wanted to come across like the way that you came across when you told us. And I think she was kind of like confused in the beginning because like it was just out of nowhere. But I think that she just thought like, what is the whole point of the story? I understand that it's hard to tell stories.
It is difficult.
Because like sometimes you feel like people don't understand what you're telling them. Like you're just talking and they're kind of like, okay, bye, I don't get it.
Okay, very good. So how did you feel when she kind of reacted like, duh?
Yeah.
Well,
I was kind of like sad because I thought she would have gotten it. And I think that she was just still feeling really confused because she was like, I don't understand anything.
okay. And what do you want to do as a result of this experience? How would you change it next time?
I think I would just keep telling her the stories and maybe she'll like catch on that I'm trying to like give her life lessons. And then I think she'll just listen and try to understand why I'm telling her stories.
What do you think would be one thing she can do to make her storytelling better, more effective?
Maybe when you start telling her the story, tell her like, oh, I'm gonna like, instead of saying like, oh, I'm gonna tell you a story, like, tell her like, oh, this is something like I just want you to know, like, and maybe like explain to her after, like what you were trying to say with the story, or what the story really meant.
Okay.
Anybody else has got some suggestion? Natalie has something for you.
Well, this is something that like I need to work on myself, but focusing on there's certain parts in the story that you really have to build an image of. So really give them details before moving. Like don't go straight to like the punchline, like the point of the story, but really have them imagine it. So you're working on how you tell the story too, and how you can relate it to the person that you're telling it to. So something that you think it could be useful, and since you know her personally.
You said something at the beginning, and you said that you went in and you saw your sister taking a nap?
No, she was just laying in the bed.
Okay, laying in the bed. And she probably, her mind was probably somewhere, right? Because always our mind is really generating thoughts, like so many of them, in every second. So she was in a context right there. She could be in the sea, she could be in the movie, she could be somewhere, right? And then so you entered there, and then without any kind of preparation, you told her the story, right? So how would you go about preparing her about this story? It's like you want to sell her something, you want to give her something, you want to give her a gift. How would you prepare her mind and her heart so she want to hear your story?
Maybe like I could bring up something that relates to the story.
Okay, so what would you say, for example?
Maybe bring up like a friend that she has that I don't like.
Okay.
And then like, well, like I won't like for like good reasons, not just because I don't like them.
I
And
like
then,
the way she looks at me. Ugh.
but then like, and then tell her the story, and then maybe she'll understand like what I'm trying to tell her. Like not everyone has good intentions for you and stuff.
Okay, so now was a good learning. So are you going to be trying to do another one for somebody else?
Maybe.
Who do you think are better candidates for storytelling? Grown-ups or children?
Children,
Why?
because children have more imagination.
And
Like they have more fun with it.
any other reasons?
Children like stories better.
True.
Yes.
They're more attentive.
Huh?
They're more like attentive.
They're more spontaneous. Yeah, they're more in the moment.
Yeah, teenagers, I'll be like, yeah, uh-huh. More, yeah.
Well, thank you so much. This was wonderful. But I really appreciate it. But you guys want to... Now, Valerie, try this one. Valerie is practicing, by the way, this part of the skill here. And so Valerie is learning, so I want you to pay attention. She's practicing a skill, which is drawing from you this part of the story. So I'm helping her. So give her your energy, supporting energy. Okay, Valerie.
So Jennifer, what story did you tell?
I told someone a little
Okay, and to who?
to my friend.
To your friend. Okay, what is the context around the story like? Did you sit down with her or like paint the scene of like how you told the story and like where?
We were at lunch and we were sitting down at our table, and he asked me how was project period, and I told him that we had to share a story, so I shared the story.
Okay. And then so after you told the story to him about the bear and the hiker, what were your thoughts on how it went?
I thought it went like pretty good. He seemed really interested.
He seemed interested, like, and so as you were telling the story, did you see that he was like really like wanted to know what happened in the end or what the moral of it was?
He was more like in the same position, always like this, like listening and going like that.
Okay. And then how did you feel about how you did? And
I thought I did good. Oh, I felt I did okay.
so content?
Yeah,
Or,
content.
Can you use a feeling word for it? I did okay. What is that? Is that a feeling?
That's a judgment.
Yeah.
That's a what?
Judgment.
Which is what? A thought.
Go back.
You gotta know the difference between
Yep.
thought and feeling because you need to know the difference.
Okay.
Okay. Content.
And humorous
Okay.
and glad.
Glad.
Yep.
Okay.
That's about it.
as a result of this experience of telling the story to your friend, what do you intend to do? What next time you tell a story, how would you tell it better?
For me, to give like more detail into the story because I forgot some parts.
That's great. And then, next time you tell the story, what action will you take as a result of this experience?
Make sure to tell them the like really important parts of the story and details.
Do you have somebody in mind that you would be saying the story again, telling the story again? Because you've got to practice it, right?
The same friend.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
You
Do we have enough time for another one? Or
Natalie, you're the timekeeper person.
Probably not as elaborate.
Okay.
So what is the setting of this?
Well, I was in my bed, and then she was on her bed, but she was using her phone.
So your sister?
Yeah. And so then I just went, I was like, I'm gonna tell you a story. So then I did. But she didn't want to at first, like, no, tell me later, I don't want to. I'm on my phone. So then I was like, so then,
Can you read loud?
yeah. And then so she was like, okay, fine, but do it quick, cause like, yeah. And then so, right?
What story did you tell?
The bear one.
The bear one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That was hot. And so then what were your thoughts on how you did in telling the story after?
I mean, I think I did like fine, but like she was like hurrying me up because she didn't want to like take her time and listen because she was like busy on her phone. So I was like,
Oh.
okay. So I felt rushed. So
Okay.
yeah, I felt rushed.
And then, so your sister was, what were her thoughts? That she just wanted it to be
yeah, she didn't want it to be over. She's like,
over.
Yeah.
Okay, how were you feeling?
Well, I was feeling excited at first because I thought that she was gonna be into it, right? But then she wasn't. So then yeah.
Okay, so then you were excited, but then you were disappointed in the end?
Yeah.
And then what would be another feeling word to describe?
Well, I was also curious of where her like reactions were gonna be after I told her the story.
And then how was she feeling after the story?
When I finished telling her the story, she just gave me like a straight face, but then she started laughing. I don't know.
Okay, so she was feeling humorous.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so then what was, from this experience of sharing this story with your sister, what would your intention be for next time?
Maybe like tell her when she's like more focused, or like next time take away anything that's distracting her, so she could pay more attention to me instead of like her phone.
So like really like sit down
Yeah.
with her and have that moment. Okay, so then what actions would you take next time, and would you tell it to your sister again or to someone else?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I only have one sister, and like my parents, I don't think they're gonna like want to hear me. So yeah. I mean, I don't think they would be as like their feelings or whatever. I don't think they'll be like, how can I say it, like express too much. Like,
Oh, okay. Okay, so you could always like tell a friend though.
yeah.
So then, what actions would you take to improve your storytelling experience, to better tell the story next time?
Maybe tell it slower and like with more detail, and like have her like in a like quiet environment again, so she could like actually focus.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Raquel. Okay. Okay, so I am not used to doing this portion of the group, and so seeing everyone around me and having Kayvon's supportive smile, I was thinking, I have to do this, I have to grow. And I was feeling excited and nervous and anxious and telling myself thinking I should be excited, so then I felt excited. And then my intention is to do this again so that I can keep growing and continue getting out of my comfort zone. And I know next time will definitely be better because this is like rock bottom, so it has to be better than this. And then my action is to do this again next week, so I could continue on from this and learn and reflect on how to do better.